everybody out there. I'm Jim Doti, and welcome to Cooking for Health and Pleasure. I'm here with my sous chef, Kristen Wong, Chapman University student, a senior in broadcast journalism. And I'm here with Brenda Brkusic, who is the station manager of OC Channel, Chapman University. And we're very proud because she's also an award-winning filmmaker, producer, and we're going to be talking about that during the show. But she's also a Croatian chef, Croatian by background, and we're going to be visiting the beautiful country of Croatia.
That's right.
It's located across, here's the Italian boot, so it's across the Italian boot, and it kind of follows the Adriatic coastline, goes back all the way into Hungary, so it's an interesting amalgam of cultures. You have the Hungarian Slavic influence, you have the Italian influence, probably a little bit of the Germanic Austrian influence as well.
Absolutely.
All coming together in the beautiful, I've been to Croatia, one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. But today it's all about Croatian food, right?
Well, and as you mentioned, many influences, many cultural and geographic influences in the Croatian cuisine. Inland, you'll have more of an Austrian or Hungarian type influenced cuisine, like stuffed cabbage rolls, stuffed peppers, lamb, sauerkraut, things like that. On the coast, where my parents are from, they're from the islands, and that's where a lot of tourists go because Croatia has over 1,000 islands to enjoy. You'll find more of an Italian or Mediterranean influenced cuisine, so a lot of pasta and pizza, which is more of the contemporary cuisine, but traditionally fish. And the fish is usually caught that day and served that day in the restaurants.
Like an island like Sicily, where seafood is a big deal. You're right there by the sea.
Yeah. And you'll find a lot of octopus salad, fried or grilled squid.
Pupa. Pupa in Italian, the octopus, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And prosciutto is very popular there. That's also popular in Italy. But this dish that I'm making today is called Brudet, and it's very common on the Croatian coast and coincides with a lot of holidays. Croatia is a predominantly Catholic nation, so you'll find that Brudet is often cooked like on Christmas Eve or Good Friday. People are fasting.
The Roman Catholic Italian tradition is Christmas Eve. It's a seafood night. And of course, during Lent Fridays, you would have seafood.
And Croatians have been making this Brudet, which is a fish stew. They've been making this for centuries in the city of Šibenik. So I'm going to share this recipe with you today. It was passed down to me from my parents. So here we have about, I'd say 13 tablespoons of olive oil in a large pot.
Nice big soup pot. That's a beautiful soup pot.
Yes. I want to make sure the heat.
I'm sure this came all the way from Croatia. It's like 200 years old. We passed it on from generation to generation. Okay, so now the olive oil is, oh my goodness, look at this. Okay. Kristen, isn't this beautiful?
And this is
look at those lobsters.
Definitely a healthy dish, all fresh ingredients. And here we have...
Looks like you're starting with some chopped onions.
This is one chopped onion. One whole chopped onion. We're going to saute this a little bit. Get that going. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic.
All right. Sounds delicious.
This is going to smell great.
You know, you could actually buy in the store now the garlic already chopped up, so you don't have to buy a garlic bulb if you're afraid of doing that. Come in a little can, and they're just as good.
Very convenient.
Very convenient.
And my favorite ingredient, 3 tablespoons of chopped Italian parsley, fresh.
Ah, that's the flat leaf. It's really
That's
Italian
right.
parsley,
Yes.
but Americans call it flat leaf parsley.
Italian parsley.
Not the curly kind. It's different, way different. Oh, is that beautiful?
So we want to get this
You got to get something
going.
red in there. This way you'll have the white, red, and green of the Italian flag.
That's next.
What's the Croatian colors?
Red, white, and blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's harder to find blue.
Like
foods,
American.
but-
Yeah.
Here we have 2 tomatoes, which have been peeled and diced. We're going to add that in. Mix that up.
What's the name of this dish again?
Brudet.
Brudet.
Yes.
Brudet.
Sounds delicious.
So it sounds like it looks like a ciaupino so far.
Very similar, yeah.
Okay. And ciaupino is the Italian fish soup. Nah, that's easy. That's tomato paste.
Yeah, 1
Beautiful.
tablespoon.
Okay.
Yep.
This will give it a nice
A little
color.
trick on that. If you see that little bit of tomato paste, they come in little cans. All you have to do is cut one side of the can and then the other. Cut both ends of the can, and you can freeze it because usually you only use a little bit of tomato paste and just push it through, kind of like a creamsicle. Remember those,
Yeah, of
Kristen?
course.
You know those things you push? Push-ups, I think they call
Yeah,
it.
push pops.
Push. We used to call them push-ups in my day. Yeah, push pops, okay?
It's
Liquefying,
sauteing.
getting limp, the onion's getting soft. Okay, what's next?
okay. So we're going to add the halibut first.
Ah, beautiful
And you can
halibut,
really
nice
use-
fresh halibut. That's a beautiful. You know, halibut's an interesting fish.
It is.
They stay on the bottom. One side is dark, and one side is light. The light side is always on the ground side. And fishing for them is very interesting because they don't fight, but they just kind of drag on the bottom, kind of like a cat does when they sometimes
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be picked up. They kind of somehow move themselves. Anyway, that's a halibut.
Halibut.
Great fish.
So there's two halibut steaks there.
And it's
You can-
quartered. See,
You know-
these are like pieces of.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
do
let's
that,
just
or
put
you
'em
can
in.
leave them in
I'm
whole
gonna put
pieces.
it all. The
Go ahead.
water, some of the water's
Yeah.
exuded from the fish.
Great.
That's great. That goes
Okay.
right into the stock.
And you can really use any type of fish you want. If you want to use sea bass or swordfish.
But kind of a firmer fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I don't really want to mix this too much because you don't want the fish to break. So you just kind of shake it a little
Yeah.
bit, get it, make sure it's not
Great.
sticking. And now we're going to add some seasoning.
Okay.
So we have here 5 dashes of garlic powder.
Would salmon work instead of the halibut?
You know, I've never tried it with salmon, but I'm sure it
Seems
would.
like
you
it's
can
a similar
even
texture.
put squid
you
in
wouldn't want to
there.
use cod because
Yeah.
that gets too flaky and break up.
Yeah. And then we have one teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning. Croatians use a seasoning called Vegeta, which is a Croatian seasoning, but it's really just all-purpose seasoning.
Do you have any Croatian stores where you get this stuff here in Orange County?
Actually, Vegeta's at the Ralph's over on Chapman Avenue.
The what?
The Ralph's over on Chapman Avenue
Oh,
has
Ralph's.
Vegeta.
Okay.
There are a lot of Croatian stores in San
Great.
Pedro.
But that's great about, you could go into a major supermarket now in Orange County. We're an amalgam of every culture in the world, so you could get most everything in your international section.
Absolutely.
That looks like paprika?
This is paprika, about
Any
4 to 8.
particular kind?
I like Hungarian paprika.
Hungarian
Yeah.
paprika. Okay.
What is the
That's the
difference?
stuff you use in paprikash, right?
Yeah.
For in your stew.
This is about 14 dashes. And then we have 25 dashes of pepper.
Wow.
25, so you go like 25 times.
You take the pepper shaker,
fun.
and it's funny because the reason I'm measuring it in dashes is because I just watched my mom do it one day, and that was the only way for me to learn, just by watching how many times she shakes the pepper shaker. So we're just gonna,
But it's interesting how you're doing that. Let's have our viewers take a look at it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Wow. Oh, oh,
Yeah.
you can smell the
We're lucky
halibut
that
starting to
Croatians
cook.
like garlic and
But
spice.
it's interesting how you're not stirring
Yeah.
it. I would have stirred vigorously, and the fish would be mincemeat.
yeah,
So you're very careful
very
about
gently,
because you
the
want
fish
the
whole.
soup to have that nice big chunk of fish.
that's right.
Good trick. Okay.
Okay, so
What do we have
that's
now?
going. So now we have 1.5, let's see, how many do we have here? We have 8 tablespoons of red wine vinegar
Red wine vinegar. Okay, there it is.
and some water, depending
Okay.
on how thick you want the stew to be. So we're going to dilute that red wine vinegar in here.
Looks like about 2 cups of water and maybe a cup and a half.
cup and a
of
half,
vinegar.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to pour this in.
Now, do you have to be real careful about the ingredients, or like you said, the 25? It wouldn't kill you if you put in 20 dashes instead of 25, right?
Absolutely.
If you like a little more pepper, you put that in.
It's really-
Maybe even a little red pepper if you like
That's
it spicy, right?
Exactly what
Yeah.
I put the red pepper in. I like to have a little bit more of a
Okay.
kick. Traditionally, you don't find that in Croatia, but I like it to be a little bit more spicy.
But it looks beautiful,
So this is-
Brenda. I love it.
Yeah, those look good.
I'm a lefty, so here I am stirring with my right hand. And yeah, so you want it to thicken.
And
so we
that
don't want
gives
to.
you a little bit of the sweet sour.